I have never been, Mike, in a serious relationship in my life, but I swear to God, the New York Jets are preparing me for it when the time comes.
Where I'm heel turning on Rodgers. Burn, baby, burn, a disco inferno, burn. Sorry, Robson. I know you're a Jets fan, but we're over here celebrating the Raiders' funeral, pretty much. Celebrating the life and the season of Davante Adams' time failed as a Raider, but it's finally happened. I've been talking about it for years. If anyone's watched any of my videos, Davante Adams to the Jets, Davante Adams to the Jets, Davante Adams to the Jets. So I had to have the biggest Jets fan I know on this week, Alex Robson, for some talk and some reactions to this Jets trade. And really, I just kind of want to pour on the Raiders here. But Alex, how you doing, man? I appreciate you for coming on. You're probably hyped, right?
Oh yeah, it's a great move. Kind of as you said, you've been talking about it. I think anybody that has a brain ever since the Jets acquired Aaron Rodgers a couple years ago knew
or
that this
isn't
was
in
probably
denial. Hey, sorry for interrupting myself, but one quick reminder before you forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you can be here every single time I post. It's the free way you guys can support the channel. We're trying to build something special here very early on in the stages here. We only have 10,000 subscribers. We're trying to get 20,000 subscribers. The only way that's possible is if you guys support the channel by liking the video, subscribing, turn on notifications.
Yeah, this was probably going to happen. This was a deal that just the relationship those two guys have dating back to Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers doesn't win 2 MVPs like he did without how Davante Adams was, and Davante Adams doesn't become the receiver that he ended up becoming without Aaron Rodgers. Just two guys that love each other to death. And talking about them Raiders, man, I guess it's a national holiday watching them burn to the ground, I guess, because I get kind of a joy out of it too. But
I mean, it does happen annually, so you might be onto something there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, man. Just one of those things. I can't really say much because the Jets have sucked my entire life.
Same here. Chargers too. But hey, Chargers are good this year.
Yeah, there you go. At least you got that going for you. You got a competent head coach now.
But anyways, Robson, what did you think was really the issues before we get to this trade? Like the timeline here is kind of crazy because, in my opinion, I felt, and the reason that I've been really hyped on the Jets for both years that they've had Rodgers, last year obviously ended very, very quickly, and this year it's not been going as I hyped them either, but it's because of the defense. I know that Aaron Rodgers is going to figure out the offense side of the ball eventually in some way, shape, or form, whether it's through dominating on the ground again with Breece Hall eventually or acquiring Davante Adams. And, you know, Garrett Wilson now had his breakout game this year. Just you kind of see that connection getting a little bit better. You knew Aaron Rodgers and this offense was going to figure it out at some point. My hat that I was hanging on with the Jets hype and saying that they're still a playoff team was the defense, and they fired Robert Saleh. And I was like, well, this is the defensive freaking guy that's kept this together somehow through all of this chaos over the last couple of years. And the defense has still been good every year, like objectively. No one can even argue that the defense hasn't been top 10 over the last like 3 to 4 years that they've had Robert Saleh out there. What kind of, from your perspective, is this fixing?
Man, honestly, it's just such a weird situation with the Jets right now. I don't recall a team having this much talent but being still so dysfunctional. Like, it's so
All the
odd
penalties
just
in that
with
game.
him.
Yeah.
I don't know how much validation there is in the claims that Aaron Rodgers had anything to do with Robert Saleh getting fired. I mean, we can't confirm nor deny that. Woody Johnson has never really been that hands-on before. He's never done it in his time owning the New York Jets, fired a head coach mid-season, and that's including the disaster that Adam Gase was. It's just such a weird situation. What I think this helps with the Jets, though, is it gives him another reliable weapon. It gives him somebody outside of Garrett Wilson, who multiple times last week was seeing double coverage, and throughout these first couple of weeks has been seeing multiple defenders on him. Allen Lazard still leads the NFL in drops. Mike Williams, as much as I know you as a Chargers fan love the guy, it hasn't worked with him in the Jets so far. I don't know how much legitimacy there is with him running. I know, bring him on back. I know. But I don't know how much legitimacy there is to him running the wrong route. I don't know. I'm not a football coach. I don't know. I'm not Aaron Rodgers. I don't know.
I'll say this, Alex. I'm a huge Aaron Rodgers fan. I haven't completely turned on him because of this. He is completely off base with the shit he's saying about Mike Williams. But
then again, I don't know. Like, I don't know the play calls. I don't know.
That's why I'm saying, like, fine. If you don't want Mike Williams, I want Mike Williams. Send him back. Send him back. Send him
And
back.
even then, you can't really deny he's kind of looked a little bit different since coming back. That TL maybe kind of messed with him a little
I
bit physically.
honestly think, like from what I've seen, he looks similar. Like he's just a jump ball guy. That's what he is. I know that the Chargers tried to get him to be more than that, but he never was a great route runner. He never was. He's never had top end speed. He's not a speed demon. He is literally a jump ball guy. And if you go and watch all 10 of his catches this year, they're almost all jump balls. So
At
I
that
feel
point,
like you're getting Mike Williams, and that's why I want him, because the Chargers right now are really putting pressure on defenses to load the crap out of the boxes. And now you get to start throwing jump balls with Mike Williams outside. It's going to go back to what it was with Herbert and him in previous seasons, I think. And Mike's now had 2 knee injuries. I think that he's fine, and I would give up that. It's going to be a 6 or 7 round pick. Like he's going to be almost free. But I want to keep focus here on the Jets, right? So really, it's just about getting Aaron Rodgers, another weapon. I think the biggest thing also, and a lot of people underrate stuff like this, when you're able to put Garrett Wilson to the sideline on the field, like lined up outside the numbers or on the numbers, then you put Davante Adams on the other side, like that puts so much stress on a run defense, because now you have to decide, are you going to give light coverage to these 2 superstar wide receivers, or are you going to give a light box for Breece Hall to run on? And that, to me, can be game changing and can be season changing. But do you think it can be season changing enough to save this season?
that's the tough part, because you look at the schedule right now. The Jets are 2-4. It doesn't get much easier. You have a couple of different games in there, but you still got to play Miami twice. You got to play Buffalo again. You got to play New England again. You had the Texans. You got the Steelers and their defense coming up this coming week, Sunday Night Football. They're going to have to go on a run, man. They're going to have to go on a run. They're going to have to pull some games out of their rear end that they're just going to have to find ways to win. And with how this team has been, there's still the undisciplined. They're undisciplined still at times. The defense is inconsistent, especially against run defense. Secondary's been great, but now it's banged up. Chuck Clark, we don't know when if he's healthy coming back. DJ Reed, we don't know his situation. Michael Carter II, we don't know his situation. It's really become kind of looking like Sauce Gardner, and that's it. And Sauce has been amazing this year. Once again, still one of the top 3 corners in the NFL, but there's only so much you can do. This defensive line is still just so thin, especially with Jermaine Johnson out for the year with a ruptured Achilles. Will McDonald's been phenomenal this year, but outside of that, and Quinnen Williams, what's on that defensive line? It's tough when you can't stop the run like their defense has been prone to not be able to do, because it's now twice that team's been able just to run down their throat. San Francisco did it, and now Buffalo's done it as well. So I just think that this team, they're going to have to pull some games out of their rear end, and they're going to have to go on a big run here late and win the games they're supposed to and pull off some wins that maybe they're not supposed to get this team where it needs to be, to make sure everybody else in the building don't get fired. And that's at least the playoffs.
This is why it's so painful for me, Robson, because the Jets are the team that I stood up to Joe and Tony for. Like, they are literally calling me an idiot. And I'm telling them, no, you're wrong. You know, this is like a same thing as a Brady situation. Like, I'm saying all kinds of crazy takes to these guys. And the Jets organization is not helping me back them anyway. Because you're saying they need to pull wins out of the rear end, right? Who was pulling wins out of his rear end?
It's
3 years.
I'm pretty sure you're talking about that man TB12, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm talking about Robert Saleh. Like, they've been pulling wins out of the rear end with Zach Wilson. So I don't get it. It has to be a Rodgers Saleh beef. And I, again, am not the one to go after Rodgers like that. And then the Tay trade happens like right afterwards. And then the Mike Williams thing is happening right now. It's all like the dominoes are falling where I'm heel turning on Rodgers. I'm heel turning.
And I feel like, I've talked to you about it too when the news was kind of coming out that it was really Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers for the Jets back when they decided to make a move for a veteran quarterback.
And either way, like you say,
I was worried about it. I was kind of worried about the Aaron Rodgers situation, because as great as Aaron Rodgers is, still in my opinion, maybe the most talented thrower of the football the NFL has ever seen, there's baggage that comes with Aaron Rodgers. He likes to have his say. He likes to have his guys in here. There are guys on this roster and on this coaching staff that are there solely because of Aaron Rodgers, primarily looking at Nathaniel Hackett, who should not be employed in the NFL. He's terrible. Like, there's no reason he should be a play caller in the NFL after the disaster that was the Denver Broncos in his 1 year there. But he's still there because he's Aaron Rodgers' guy. Alan Lazard is now lead the league in drops. Last year and this year, he's still leading the league. He's still there, and he's still making big money. It's just, it doesn't make sense to me. But also, this is the situation you put yourself in when you get Aaron Rodgers. This is
Yep.
just
All of these things, they're all pointing straight back to him. All of these things you just said, they point straight back to him. And this is like, I'm eating crow a little bit right now because I thought this would be way better. I thought Aaron Rodgers would be a better leader. I thought that why would I think that? It's like, he is a great leader and he does have that competitive spirit where he wants to win above all costs. But when he's losing, he doesn't really go about it the right way.
Right.
That's kind of what I've noticed with this season. And it's like, hit me in the face. And other people have literally said it to me. And I basically ignored them out of hype for the Jets. One more thing I want to talk to you about, and this kind of goes back and ties into the Mike Williams thing. What other moves should the Jets make here before the trade deadline?
I think you got one thing that I would like to see done. I don't think this will happen, but I would love to see Hassan Reddick in the building. Decide all the issues that he has caused with his agency and all that. You can't deny that he makes his football team better. If you have somebody else beside Will McDonald being able to rush the passer, because everybody else they put out there just isn't cutting it, especially Michael Clemens, who's seeing way too many snaps for being somebody that he's not good. He's not good. So if you're able to get Hassan Reddick in the building and get him under contract and get him working, that'd be huge. And I think the Jets need to make a move to bolster up their run defense. They need to make a move for somebody right beside Quinnen Williams. They need to get another guy at nose tackle that can come in, stuff the run, and slow down some of these run-heavy offenses that the NFL has. Because at the end of the day, if you make the playoffs, you're probably going to have to face a Baltimore. You're probably going to have to face one of these teams that just runs the ball down your throat. You're going to have to bolster up this defensive line somehow. So I think if you get Hassan Reddick in the building and make a trade for somebody that's good at stuff in the run, can also get after the passer a little bit too, I think that you better your chances at making that big run we're talking about and getting into the postseason.
Yeah, at least getting to the postseason. I think that's the biggest thing for the Jets because this Davante Adams trade could have a big impact on next season if Aaron Rodgers decided to go one more. And I think that might be something that Aaron Rodgers told the Jets, like, hey, you know, I'm asking you guys to spend a third and it's a comp second if he does really well. That's basically Rodgers saying, I'm coming back next year. I mean, why would you ask the team spend a third on Davante Adams at 2-4 if you weren't thinking you have two shots at it?
Right.
Or maybe it is like, hey, like, guys, I'm retiring. If you want to try and win while you have me, you might want to make some moves. Like, this is it. If this is how the team's going to be all year, this is how I'm going to retire. So it's kind of a tough situation for Rodgers to be in because he kind of has to like almost take the L, and it's his own fault. It's his own fault. If they make those moves, yeah, they can possibly recover that. But how hard is it to trade for a defensive tackle in the middle of the season? It's tough. I mean, there might be some guys available. I do think that, and I've been saying it all offseason, that this trade deadline is going to be unique because I feel like the league is really top heavy. Teams either are really good or they suck right now, or they're sucking and they should be really good and they think they should be really good. And the teams that suck are going to be looking for future picks because the next few draft classes, you know, as a college football guy, are nuts. And the teams that are really good are looking to go all in because with what's going on in Kansas City right now, it seems like it's kind of wide open a little bit. I think the trade deadline is shaping up to be nuts. Like we already seen Amari Cooper traded. We already seen Davante Adams traded. I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to get traded. I think Ramondre Stevenson is going to get traded. I think we're going to see DBs get traded, safeties get traded. I think we're going to see 10 plus deals at the trade deadline. And we're accustomed to as football fans it not being like that. Like the NBA trade deadline is nuts. The MLB trade deadline is nuts. The NFL one usually only see one player move. Do you see the news on the Giants too?
What we got on the Giants? What they just do?
Y'all might be getting another Hall of Fame quarterback in New York because they are aggressively pursuing a trade to acquire Matthew Stafford. Why? I don't know why, but
what?
yeah. I think the Rams will do it. I think the Rams will do it with the receivers injured like this.
Well, I mean, at this point, if you're the Rams, yeah, it kind of makes sense because I think your window is kind of closed. Aaron Donald's on your team. You have to. I mean, you got your Super Bowl that you wanted when you went all in with Matt Stafford, but also that's not a. If anything, that's kind of like maybe it's a little bit of a step up for the Giants, but that roster is not in win now mode. Like
to me, if that's a real report, to me, that's just like Brian Daboll just like pleading and begging that he doesn't get fired. Like, I can do this. Look, just give me somebody, anybody.
Or begging and pleading just to get Daniel Jones the hell off the field.
That's also what I'm thinking. Like, that would probably send Daniel Jones to LA, and Daniel Jones is going to be like Jared Goff, where the Giants pay for Daniel Jones to go and play with Sean McVay instead, and watch Daniel Jones be good with Sean McVay.
I mean, Sean McVay, the best offensive mind in the game. I've seen stranger things.
And he's got a free quarterback. That's some shit that
mean,
Sean McVay would do.
hell,
Oh, man.
welcome
So,
to
okay, so
NFL.
you're thinking defensive tackle. You're thinking D-line, of course.
Mhm.
You're thinking possibly some help. What was the other position you were saying?
I was saying primarily get Hassan Reddick in the building and get
Oh, yeah, Hassan Ridge in the middle. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that would be good for the Jets too. So, what's your honest prediction from here on out, Robson? How do you think the rest of the season is going to go?
It's so tough to say because every single week this team feels there's a different vibe. Like at the end of this game against Buffalo, a game you should have won, but you lost still. Another case of that. It really felt like it was over. Like doom and gloom. Here we go again. Like another season down the drain.
Mhm.
Then you trade for Davante Adams, and all of a sudden, it literally. I have never been, Mike, in a serious relationship in my life, but I swear to God, the New York Jets are preparing me for it when the time comes because I'm ready for the highs and lows of them, brother. Like, I'm ready for them because that's what this team is. The minute I think about just bailing out, they pull me back in somehow. That's what this team has been so far this year. One week they look terrible against the 49ers, then they come out blow the doors off the Patriots, team that's owned them the past few years. Like it's just weird. I don't know how to feel. I feel like though we're going to learn a lot, especially if Davante Adams is available this coming Sunday night against the Steelers, a great defense. We'll learn a lot. We will learn a lot in that game. If the Jets find a way to win that game, I personally don't think they will. I think Pittsburgh's defense is too good. But if they
Well,
find a way to
did
win
you
that
see
game,
the Steelers are trying to give themselves a loss? You saw the news also on that, right?
I did see that Russell Wilson. I'm far less scared of Russell Wilson than I am Justin Fields.
Which is
But
not a good thing if you're Pittsburgh. Like when your opponents are saying they're less scared now.
yeah, so I think that if the Jets find a way to win that game and they look good doing it, I mean, once
You're
again,
back
it's
on.
wide
Yeah,
open
you're close.
interpretation. Like I don't
You're
know.
right there,
Yeah, you're right there.
500.
You're right back in at 3-4. And then you got the Patriots again after that, I believe. So you could be right back at 4-4, and the season's wide open for you again. Or you could lose this one, you drop to 2-5, and that is going to be a tough hill for Jeff Ulbrich to climb to get back into postseason contention.
Yeah, to me, I agree. I agree with you. I feel like it all could be still in front of them. I don't view them as Super Bowl contenders unless Aaron Rodgers starts to play like he used to play. I think that's really what it's going to take for them to go to that level, and maybe Davante Adams can create that spark. He's had some games this year where it's been clearly they lost because of him, and he's like reeling to find answers. It almost feels like, and I'm hoping he figures it out for the Jets' sake. Stop blaming my guy Mike Williams. I'll tell you that much. It's starting to make me not want to root for him because that's I like Mike Williams more than Aaron Rodgers even. But that's because I'm a biased dude.
Might get him back. Who knows? Like,
Dude, if that happened, well, I think that the Chargers may be considering it now because this last game we saw Herbert hit 11 different receivers. We had 6 or 7 different rushers. Like, yeah, that's going to work against a Broncos team that was really hot and really overrated, in my opinion, with the young quarterback and stuff. You can get away with it. But I think you're going to need a wide receiver one. And now that the Chargers kind of see what they have on defense, right now they have the best defense in the league, statistically. And you see what you have on the offensive line. Right now, the offensive line is playing some amazing football with some injuries, and it's very impressive. Maybe the Chargers are like, let's speed this shit up. Let's get DeAndre Hopkins in here. Like, let's go for it. But this isn't a Chargers video. My prediction for the Jets, I think that they'll still be similar to what my prediction was before. I think Breece Hall is going to keep getting better, as we saw in that game. I think Garrett Wilson and the connection with Aaron Rodgers will get better, like you're saying, as the coverage lessens a little bit. And I still think the Jets are a 9 or 10 win team. But it's not like it was before where I was standing on the roof and yelling that they're going to win this division.
Yeah, sadly, it's just not how it worked out. We've seen how good Josh Allen is, even with the lack of receiving help before the Amari Cooper trade.
Yep.
He's just still been doing his thing. He's actually looked better. He hasn't thrown a pick yet, and last year he was the league in interceptions.
Yeah.
So it's really impressive just to see how damn good that dude is. And once again, I will forever despise Mike McCagnon, the former Jets GM, for deciding it was a better idea to take that damn Sam Darnold over Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson.
Sam Darnold's undefeated, Robson. Come on.
We both know how that's going to end, Mike. Come on.
What do you mean? I think Sam Darnold's going to go 17-0, Alex.
All right, Brian Bolster, calm down. Where's he been? I haven't heard his phone. He hasn't called me in a minute. I
should get him on, actually. I should get him on about this Mayo ball shit that's going on.
Oh, my goodness, man. Good God. I just brought back that now. Now I'm going to get a phone call from him here in a little while. I'm being like, I completely forgot about that. Oh,
I do see him. He likes the video every once in a while, so he might be tuned into this. Brian, how you doing, man? It's good to see you. Sam Darnold's cooking up the league right now with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison.
We've seen this story before. Just wait. Them ghosts.
What do you think's gonna happen, Robson? What do you think's gonna happen?
Oh, them ghosts are gonna come back, brother.
They're gonna come back. You think he's just gonna start throwing picks again?
I don't know about throwing the picks, but he's gonna be missing them. He still misses them a couple times.
I've noticed that too.
Against the Jets, he struggled a little bit. You saw a little bit of cracks in the armor. We saw this with Carolina. We saw this with Carolina.
I've always felt similar to you about Sam Darnold, and that's why that's why you're saying, like, Mike, because I was always the one that would probably be on your side in this take, that he is very talented and he has ability to stand in the pocket and deliver passes with tremendous accuracy, but he's one of the most inconsistent quarterbacks that I've ever seen in college football. So definitely when he came to the NFL, I wasn't like super excited for the team that was going to draft him. I did not expect the Jets to draft him there. I think that was that weird year where like he was supposed to go 1, I think. And they went with Baker or something instead, or Daniel Jones.
He was supposed to go 1 for the longest time, but all of a sudden the Browns fell in love with Baker Mayfield a couple weeks before the draft, and he went 1. And then that's also the same year the Jets held the 6th pick originally, then traded up with the Colts. They traded a boatload of stuff with the Colts to move up to 3 to eventually, I think it was going to end up either being Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield, whichever of the two fell, which I don't think either of them would have worked out with Adam Gase in the end of the day. So it's just one of those things.
There's only one man that could survive with Adam Gase, and it's literally football Jesus.
Peyton Manning, that's it. That was more Peyton than anybody. That's the same thing. When we come full circle, talk about Nate Hackett and Aaron Rodgers. That's the only reason Adam Gase had a job, was because of Peyton Manning.
Oh, yeah, same thing. It's the same thing over again, except for at least it worked with him and Manning.
It did work for that one year where he just went off at like 38, just did his thing.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens to Sam Darnold. We'll see what happens to the Jets this year. I appreciate you again for coming on, Alex Robson. Let them know where to find you on social media for the podcast. I know you're on all platforms. You're going to be firing it back up eventually.
Yeah, eventually some life changes have happened. I've moved from my home in Virginia all the way out to the middle of nowhere in Kansas, working at a D2 school. So the Robson Sportscast is a little bit on hold right now, but eventually that'll get back started up. You can find the show on Instagram, and you can find the show on any major streaming platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get it, you can find it. And who knows, Mike, maybe now and again, you and I are going to be right back on here. Who knows?
Oh, that's what I was about to end that with. Like, if you're not even on there, you'll definitely be on here, and we'll get ready for the Robson Sportscast here at NFL Mike's Corner every once in a while to talk some Jets or talk about anything, honestly.
I have to find that song again. I've forgotten about that. That's how long it's been.
It's a good beat. I know the producer very well. I see him basically every other weekend. So
shout out RC Productions with my man Phil Flames.
Yeah, and speaking of RC Productions, he's the producer of the beat that's about to play right now. Thank you for tuning in to another NFL Mike video. Now it's time to go make more football friends or go and compete in the Mike's Pickems Challenge or against me in daily fantasy football challenges by joining my completely free NFL group chat. Or head to fifthdown.shop and check out and see if we got your team's newest designs. Or now you can simply rep your favorite players without having to wear another team's gear. And then tag us in pictures of you wearing your Fifth Down merch for a shout out in the next episode of NFL Mike's Corner. And help us reach our goal of getting 1,000 NFL fans wearing Fifth Down. Or you can head to the next NFL Mike video by clicking it. It's on your screen.